Hey everyone, welcome back and I hope you're doing well. Let's talk about how you can earn on your stablecoins using a DeFi protocol called Curve Finance. In this video, we're going to compare how much you can earn on Curve across 7 blockchains. Before we start, let's talk about what Curve Finance is. Basically, it's an exchange as well as a liquidity aggregator. It optimizes the way you swap stablecoins, so it gives you low fees and low slippage. It allows users to swap stablecoins, but it also pays you rewards for providing stablecoin liquidity. So now I'll go through the 7 chains that Curve is on and compare the interest rates that you can find. This is in no particular order, so definitely stick throughout the end and you may learn a bit as we go along. To go on the website, go on curve.fi. The first time this protocol launched was actually in 2020. So if you click here in the network tab, you can see the list of networks that you can find it on. As we scroll through here, you can see some pools where you can supply your stablecoin. Pay attention to what is actually in that pool. So for example, here where you see USDT, wrapped Bitcoin, and WETH, when you provide liquidity here, if you provide USDT, it actually splits that asset equally across wrapped Bitcoin and wrapped ETH. So you have to think about that when you choose which pool you use, because of course, this could lead to impermanent loss. So for this video, we will stick to only pools that have stable coins in them. So for example, this 3 pool here has DAI, USDC, and USDT. So when you provide liquidity for this pool, you can either provide one of these tokens and it will split it evenly, or you can provide all 3. So here you see the rewards that you can get. So you have the base APY, which is automatically compounded back into your position. And then you have the rewards, which is a bit extra. So in this case, you can see majority of the rewards are Curve. And then here you see Lido. So depending on the pool, there may be an extra incentive. So the way that you get these rewards are actually from trade fees from Curve. Also, when these pools are from different protocols, what they do is they actually provide liquidity to other protocols as well. So for example, you can get fees from those protocols. So in the case of Compound is a lending and borrowing protocol. So you actually get some fees from that as well. And of course, you can also get fees in the way of incentives. So these are 3 ways that you earn on Curve Finance. So if I click here to see all of the pools available on Ethereum, I would then go into this section here and I would see a long list of pools that you can provide liquidity for. So it's kind of hard to go through this entire list, to be honest. I wish there was a website. If there is a website, someone let me know. But I wish there was a website where you can see the highest yield on Curve across, the various protocols. So here we can see for USDC and DAI and USDT, you can earn roughly 0.47% APY. So remember, that's not APR. And then you can also receive 2 to 6% in Curve tokens. So this will not be compounded, but this will be compounded. So that gives us roughly 6%. And then here for this particular pool, you get not only 5.75% APY, but you also get an additional 4.63 to 11% in Curve tokens. And by the way, Curve is also a DAO. So these are the governance tokens for that DAO, which you can then use for voting on various things like, how they deal with rewards, etc. So let's see what else is here on Ethereum. So here you get 0.64% APY, and then you get 5 to 12% in Curve, and then 3.42% in SNX, which I think is synthetics. I'm not too sure. So that is decent. But then in this particular one, you get 0.52% and then 16 to 40% in Curve tokens. So remember that these things change all the time. So don't just choose a pool because you see it has the largest yield that you can earn. You have to do some analysis and figure out, okay, what is the underlying protocol that I'm giving my yield to? Because there are different risks you have to consider with Curve Finance. You have to consider that you're putting it into the smart contract of Curve Finance. And then if Curve Finance uses another pool, for example, Compound, then you're exposed to the contract risk of Compound as well. And then there's also the systemic risk from using stablecoins as well. So these are the risks that you have to consider. By the way, this video doesn't have financial advice, just education. So if it were me, I think I would look at the, none of the yields here are high enough to get me excited. I do like the fact that you have this 5% APY because this one is compounded and this one is in a governance token. So I have to decide if I want to be a part of the Curve community to determine if this is valuable for me. So I think there are some interesting ones to consider. This one definitely catches my eye, but anyone can deploy a pool on Curve. So for example, they're showing you this notification here saying like, hey, factory pools are permissionless. Anyone can provide it. So you have to look into the underlying token and protocol to see if you trust it and it makes sense. And by the way, you should also consider getting insurance for DeFi as well. Don't just trust things. You can get insurance as well because, anything can happen, right? Okay, so this is Ethereum. Now we're going to move on to the other chain. So if you remember, we got like roughly 8% here. Well, 2 to 6%, sorry. Here we're getting 5 plus possibly 9 to about 16%. Okay, now we'll move on to another network and see what the stablecoin liquidity is looking like over there. Okay, so now let's look at Curve on the Avalanche network. If you don't know already, Avalanche has a massive liquidity mining program. So a lot of people have moved their liquidity or their assets onto Avalanche. And here we see that we can get 6.5% base APY, which will be compounded back into the pool. And then in rewards, we're getting Avalanche tokens because remember, there's a liquidity incentive. So as you can see here, where you're getting rewards is from people trading, so trading fees, as well as incentives from the Avalanche mining program. So this here is in the Aave pool. So what that means, they probably loan liquidity to Aave. So that's pretty healthy. So that's giving us, in combination, we're getting roughly, of course, we're assuming the price of Avalanche stays the same and stuff, but in combination, we're getting roughly 21% here, 21 to 22%. So that's pretty good. And then here, there's another pool, but again, it has Ethereum and Bitcoin. So you have to think about that before you decide if you want to do it. So let's move on to another chain. Now we are on Fantom. Fantom as well has a liquidity mining incentive program going on. So you can imagine that we have some nice yields across here. And here we have a DAI USDC pool. The compounded APY will be 1.4%. And then you have 3 and 7% in 2 other tokens, the Curve governance token, as well as the Fantom token. So, it's wrapped Fantom. So in combination, you're getting around 22% here. And then there's Geist Finance. So Geist is a lending pool. And I think it's a fork of Aave. So this is another stable coin pool that you can consider. Of course, you have to remember, you have to think about the smart contract risk of this particular platform. But in combination, you're going to get their governance token as well as Curves and Fantom. So that's 2, 4, and then 9, so 13. So you're going to get roughly like 21 to 22% here with this one. So that's looking pretty good. And then here, this one is unbelievable. So this is from Iron Bank. Iron Bank is actually created from a collaboration between, I think it's Yearn Finance and Cream Finance. So with Iron Bank, you're getting this particular yield, which is amazing. So I have no words because this is 140%. Over the weekend, you can get roughly, when I checked Iron Bank, you were getting roughly 35 to 40%. So that just shows you these things are variable. So don't expect that you'll get this yield all the time, but this is what we're getting right now. So that's obviously really good. And if you click see all pools to see what else there is, there are some other pools, but I don't, Aquarius, that's cool. Yeah, so there's some other pools, but I don't see anything else that's beating that. So far in the lead, we have Fantom and Curve as the winner so far with Iron Bank. So even when Iron Bank was giving a yield of 35% on Curve, it still is winning because right now the highest percentages we've recorded so far will be like 22 and 21. So yeah, this is a good option for you. But we still have 3 more networks to look at, so don't click away just yet because we might see better yields as well. Okay, so now let's look at Harmony, which is yet another blockchain with the liquidity mining incentives. And we see here on Curve, we get only 16%. Let me not say only, that's still quite good. We get 16%. You're getting wrapped 1. 1 is a native token of the Harmony blockchain. And then you get 0.32% compounded. So, definitely probably in third tier, we have 130%, then around 21%, and now we have like around 16%. If we move across quickly to Polygon, on Polygon, we are getting, let's see, so 9 plus like around 8, so roughly 17 to 18% on Polygon. Polygon also had a liquidity mining incentive that they launched earlier this year, maybe around May. So that is giving us a decent yield here as well, roughly around 17%. So if your assets are already on Polygon, you might say, you know what, this is decent enough for me. I have other things I'm doing on Polygon. I'm not going to rush to, bridge my assets over to another network. And then finally, if we look at xDAI, we see here, the yield is actually quite decent. You're getting 25% in curve tokens, but the base APY is 15%. So that wraps up all 7 blockchains. One thing I want to discuss is about this base APY. So essentially, you get the rewards from fees that are exchanged. So when Curve has a large volume, then you're going to get a lot more in the base APY fees. And then the rewards are based on something that they have agreed, probably due to governance as well as liquidity mining incentives. And the rewards are usually distributed every block. So potentially, maybe I can create a video showing you how you can potentially take your rewards out, like claim them automatically, maybe on a network that has low gas fees. Let me know if that's something that you'd like to see. Okay, so if we go into DeFi Llama just to see where people are pooling their assets, you can see here that we have 16 billion on Ethereum. No surprise, because of course Curve launched there first in 2020. And then across Avalanche and Polygon and Arbitrum, we have millions. So the lowest is actually on xDAI, which is 6 million. And then the highest is on Ethereum. But Fantom has 568 million, but it still had the highest yield thanks to Iron Bank. So this is something to consider if your assets are already on Fantom. In my last video, I looked at the stablecoin yields when you provide liquidity on SushiSwap, and the place that had the highest yield was Celo blockchain. So we will see if there's any chain in common that will be the best place to put your assets. But what it comes down to is how much people are actually trading on that blockchain so that the fees accumulate and you get a portion of it, as well as how much liquidity is locked into that particular pool. So these are things you consider. You shouldn't just move your assets across just for a protocol, but if you did have a favorite protocol that you trust, it's still interesting to see where you can get the best yield. I'd love to see a cross-bridge yield aggregator, so therefore you don't have to worry about this. But until then, let's continue with these videos and see which protocols are giving us the best value for our yield, and let's try to keep it very safe, so we're using stablecoins as well as safer protocols. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do your research and see what is right for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this video so people are aware of what's possible, as well as give it a like and leave a comment to let me know what you'd like to see next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.